For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. Republicans who negotiated a funding bill that ties who's campaigning on a purported border crisis. And a dramatic about-face, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell recommended to GOP senators in a closed-door meeting Monday night that they vote against the first procedural vote slated for Wednesday, according to media reports. This just hours after speaking on the Senate floor in support of the package that was announced late Sunday. Democrats were quick to condemn the Republican move. Hawaii's Brian Schatz said on social media, "I've never seen anything like it. They literally demanded specific policy, got it, then killed it." Chris Murphy of Connecticut said on social media, "Stop the drama. Do you want to fix the border or do you want to keep the border chaotic to help Trump? Just decide, please." The bill was with critics, including California Senator Alex Padilla, who noted he was negotiated without a single Democrat from a border state, and it includes a new version of a failed Trump-era immigration policy that would create more chaos at the border, not less, and fails to provide relief for dreamers, farm workers, and other undocumented residents of the country that contribute billions to the economy, he said. Christopher Martinez has more.
The supplemental package totals $118.3 billion. It includes military aid for Ukraine, $60 billion, and for Israel, $14 billion, as well as $10 billion in humanitarian aid and $5 billion for Taiwan and other Indo-Pacific allies. Perhaps most controversially, it also includes more than $20 billion in new border funding, something Republicans had insisted on as part of any supplemental bill. Over in the House of Representatives, Republican David Joyce of Ohio blasted the compromise on the House floor.
This is a bill that will only make our nation more dangerous.
He says it's time to impeach Biden's Secretary for Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas. And indeed, the House Homeland Security Committee was debating just that. While the majority Republicans are pushing toward an impeachment vote, it's opposed by Democrats on the committee, like Mississippi Democrat Benny Thompson and New Mexico Democrat Teresa Leger Fernandez.
The Republicans have voted against providing Mayorkas with the resources necessary to do the job. Is that?
That's correct.
Yes. And as I understand, they've also refused to entertain the supplemental appropriations request sent to the Hill in October. And now, as we've heard, they're trying to sink the bipartisan Senate border bill because Trump told them, sink the bipartisan border bill.
Reporting for Pacifica Radio News KPFA, I'm Christopher Martinez.
The U.S. House is expected to vote on impeaching Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas today. Gaza's health ministry reports Israeli attacks in the last 24 hours killed more than 107 Palestinians, wounding some 140 others, many in the south where Palestinians have been forced to flee to, leaving them with nowhere safe to go. The death toll has surpassed 27,000. This as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken continues a Mideast tour as part of his efforts to secure a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war in exchange for the release of hostages. He's in Egypt today, where fears are growing Palestinians could be pushed from the southern Rafah city into their country. The U.S. has opposed such plans floated by some Israeli leaders. FSN's Sarah Coates reports from Tel Aviv.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's crisis tour of the Middle East continues. He is meeting with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in Cairo amid concerns that any further military push into the southern Gazan city of Rafah could in fact see many displaced Palestinians pushed over the border into Egypt. Now, there's also concern over the peace treaty between the two countries, with Egypt also saying that any deployment of Israeli forces on that Egyptian border could jeopardize such an agreement. Well, this comes as tensions continue to escalate on the vital Red Sea shipping channel. The Iran-backed Yemen-based Houthi rebels claim that they fired naval missiles at two ships, adding one was US and another was British. Sarah Coates, Tel Aviv.
There's growing pushback of an editorial published in the Wall Street Journal calling a Michigan community with a large Arab American population the jihad capital of the U.S. President Biden said on social media Sunday, Americans know blaming a group of people based on the words of a small few is wrong. That's exactly what can lead to Islamophobia and anti-Arab hate, and it shouldn't happen to the residents of Dearborn or any American town. We must continue to condemn hate in all forms, he said. The mayor of Dearborn blasted the Wall Street Journal publication of the editorial as reckless, bigoted, and Islamophobic, and said they increased security around places of worship for the large Arab population. A deluge of rain from back-to-back atmospheric rivers in California have killed at least 3 people in the northern part of the state. The rainfall led to one of the wettest storms in Southern California history. It's easing off, but forecasters say floods are still possible. The death toll from wildfires in Chile has now topped 120 people. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.